So can you tell us your name?
I'm Marilyn Svaluto. I have lived in Keego Harbor in one form or another, either in my parents' home or in a home that we bought since 1964. I love Keego Harbor. I worked at Roosevelt School in the summertime for the Parks and Recreation program, and I loved seeing the kids come down to the water and go swimming and be part of the program. And I love the building. I think it's a beautiful building, and I love Keego Harbor.
That is actually one of the things I liked about Keego Harbor as well, was Roosevelt's closeness to the lakes and the use of the summer program for the kids. I thought that was awesome.
It represents the heart of our community. It's a beautiful building. It should not stand for anything except an edifice to history. What's the plan? What do you want to do with it that's not as good as repurposing it to housing, affordable housing, and a community center? A community center will bring residents to the city to purchase homes, rent, buy. Affordable housing will bring students to West Bloomfield schools, and there's a declining enrollment by their own admission. If they have a plan, what is it? And if they don't have a plan, for shame. I'm disgusted that in 2017, Dr. Hill said that if we vote a millage, that Roosevelt will be renewed, refreshed, repurposed, whatever. And now Stottlemyre has told me that it's within the boundaries of that bond to use that money to tear it down. So we voted in under one premise, and they want to tear it down under another? I mean, come on. I mean, we have overwhelmingly supported the West Bloomfield School District forever, and this is how we're being repaid. Stacy Brinkman said to me a long time ago, she took both my hands and she said, Marilyn, when this is all said and done, I'll explain it to you. And I said, Stacy, that's too late. I don't want to know when it's all said and done. I want to know right now why. And Ashley, holy mackerel, she ran on a platform that she was going to support all the zip codes in West Bloomfield, including Keego Harbor, specifically Keego Harbor. And where has she been? Silent.
Totally flat.
Yeah, silent. I know that when they sent out invitations to people to sit on the strategic planning committee, I applied, never heard a word.
Okay.
I indicated interest. I called and said I was very interested, that I thought Keego Harbor should be represented. Every person that's on the committee that chose to tear down Roosevelt, there's no Keego Harbor representation.
There's no Keego Harbor residents.
They don't have a clue what goes on in our city. Not a clue. I can't even tell you how many people from outside of Keego Harbor that I see at our church or at community events, and they'll say, what are they thinking? I don't have an answer. I don't know. Why don't you call and ask them? What are they thinking? What are you thinking? I went to a wonderful event at the Dublin Community Center in Waterford, and there was cards and Christmas and singing and whatever, and I thought, that could be right there in Keego Harbor. And a nice community center could bring in revenue as well. The gym could be turned into pickleball courts. You don't think that building would make an absolutely breathtaking event center that we could rent out and make money? Somebody's got to explain this to me.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
That's a great idea too.
Yeah.
There's lots of really good ideas floating around in the building.
Why?
But we've had developers come forward and say that they wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the $2.5 million offer.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that they're just closed-minded?
Because I think part of it is ego. They've made up their mind. They're going to dig in their heels and they're not backing down. I think part of it is they have a plan. It's ulterior, and they don't want us to know what it is. And here we are, a small group of people whose heart is, we're not, you're collecting bottles, for God's sakes.
It is hard work.
It is.
And I thank everyone who drops off bottles, but it is time consuming.
Well, that's it. All they have to do is use our tax money for their lawyer to fight us. See, once again, they're using our money.
That's the worst part.
It is. When I talked to Stottlemyre one day, I said, do you really think that you can use the bond money from 2017 to demolish the building? He said, well, legally. I said, I don't want to hear legally, okay? I want to hear ethically and morally. Is it the right thing to do? And he looked at his watch. He said, well, today's my birthday, and I'm going to go home for dinner. Well, happy birthday.
You know, I heard something recently that compassion is a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I kind of look at that differently. When people are callous or just don't feel the need to address your concerns and brush you off. And I think those are the people that get the least amount of respect from me, because they are not acting like they have a responsibility to be compassionate, and they do.
Speaking of responsibility, didn't Keego Harbor people elect those school board members? I mean, aren't they supposed to represent everyone's interest and say we need to be responsible to everyone?
It's like once you get into corporate
or politics,
or politics,
yeah.
And you lose the whole sense of what it's like to be on the other side of things, where you don't have as big of a voice and you can't get that message out. And then here they are, they're in a position to provide justice, and they just turn their noses up.
And why?
We've got a couple of events coming up. We've got the transparency meeting at the library,
mm-hmm.
which I hope you speak your mind when you come.
I certainly will. I have no filters.
That will be January 22nd from 6:30 to 8:30. The actual hearing is February 5th at 10 a.m. in Detroit.
And I plan to be there as well. I also plan to be at a city council meeting and ask. I've been bitterly disappointed in the Keego Harbor City Council not stepping up and saying, why is saving Roosevelt good for our city? I mean, and if it isn't, tell me. Tell me why it isn't good. And if it is, my goodness, fight for it. Again, I don't get it.
Again, it's that, hey, you're in a position, you have responsibility, and they say, this is out of my hands. Mm-hmm. I'm not as big as the West Bloomfield School District. Well, we certainly aren't
either.
Aren't either.
We aren't either.
Yeah, it's insanity. Okay.
Okay.
We'll shake.
Thank you. God bless you, Jen.
Thanks.
For all you do.